1, 2. Okay. I'm just going to start. Are you touching a little? Is that in honor of Martin Wong? Because he wore cowboy boots?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Bienvenidos, dear gentle patrons. Welcome to Second Slice, a second serving of art history, a more relaxed serving of art history. So relaxed, in fact, that we accidentally corrupted our previous Second Slice's video file, which was an unintentional deep dive into Sam Butcher and the Precious Moments Chapel. It was days worth of editing and work just gone.
Look, I take issue with the unintentional because I feel like it was kind of very intentional in a way. Okay, we're never gonna get it back. The Bless This Mess Core, the Funko Pops for Christian moms, the PMT 800 robot with the Precious Moments head. Okay, it's a lot of work that's gone, just gone. And look, the audio's there. You can listen to the audio. The last like 10 minutes are missing, but the video is totally fucked. But we'll re-record it one day. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Once we've had a little separation from it.
Yeah, a little separation is good. We can go in with fresh tear-shaped eyes.
Yes.
They have tear-shaped eyes. Okay. But here's a little, we're making up for it now. Okay, this is our extra credit work for...
We're sorry.
for failing the exam. We've cobbled together something for you.
We are looking at Martin Wong, taking a second look, specifically his painting Rapture from 1988. We originally covered Martin in our second episode ever. A lot of twos. I like it.
Twos.
Our second ever episode of Art Slice. So feel free to catch up on that if you like.
But just in case you need a little refresher, Martin Wong was a Chinese American who originally studied ceramics, but came into his own as an artist amidst the San Francisco hippie psychedelic scene, the peace, love, drugs, and Ronald Reagan folks. Unfortunately, missing the backlash to all of this, the sort of dead Kennedys punk rise in the San Francisco Bay Area. Because in the late 70s, he decided to move across the country away from that fresh peninsula air, the romantic panoramic bay views to dilapidated, almost post-war looking lead air ridden city. We are, of course, talking about the one, the only New York City.
New York City.
So he settled in the pre-yogified Lower East Side, a bustling Puerto Rican, we switched sides now, a bustling Puerto Rican community that occasionally attracted creative types like Martin. And it's here where Martin's art took on that very unique Martin Wongness. Okay.
Wongness. I love it.
A melding of all these different types of languages and visual language like Chinese calligraphy, graffiti, ASL fingerspelling, star charts, all painstakingly illustrated on canvas with oil paint under this dilapidated New York City landscape.
New York City.
Okay.
Yes. Often he painted scenes of starry nights filled with almost Trompe-l'oeil like faux-ness, like the faux-ness of those red brownstone buildings, and lots of chaste men that Martin had little emoji throbby hearty eyes for.
So like a post-apocalyptic chaste love scene under a star of constellations that form poetry written in fingerspelling on the stage of a partially imploded brick building.
Yeah.
I hope that all makes sense to you listeners.
It's very complex. It's very layered. Martin had a big heart for these marginalized communities that he was not a part of, that he did not grow up in, that he didn't have a connection to other than living there, including the New Yorkers, which is what New York Puerto Ricans call themselves, in the Lower East Side, for example. Or he hung out with graffiti artists and he collected their work. Most of them have been completely forgotten, but he also collected the work of other artists like well-known Lady Pink, Keith Haring, and Lee Quiñones. He even helped to start the first graffiti museum in New York City.
New York City.
That's
an extra New York City.
So not only New Yorkers, not only graffiti artists, but also the deaf community.
So Martin wasn't deaf himself, but he used it. I think partially he was fascinated with the beautiful forms the fingerspelling would make. Like it almost reminds me of Arabic calligraphy or Khmer script, but with like a 90s cartoon energy.
Yes.
So speaking of the 90s, he actually made a project in the early 90s with the, in part with the Public Art Fund and the Department of Transportation to create, quote, traffic signs for the hearing impaired. Most people don't use hearing impaired anymore. That's just what they used back then, which I think are amazing. Like the signs are indistinguishable from actual road signs. So, I mean, you kind of like know, yeah, I mean, they're not dangerous, but because they actually have the road signs with them, but you know that shape, that color, that reflective quality to it, right? But you kind of do this like second take when you see Martin Wong's like unique finger spelling typography, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love that double take effect, right?
Yeah.
Because this is a font that you've probably never seen before that isn't even immediately recognized as hands. Like it kind of looks like another language all on its own. But then you even take like a third look and a fourth look, and then hopefully you don't, veer off into the street killing a crab juice vendor.
What?
For all my Simpsies.
Simpsies?
Yeah. Season 8, I think. Episode 1, right?
You simping with your Simpy Simps?
I am. And I just love work that makes you do like triple takes.
Yes. So it was dangerous for me because I'm driving, and that me taking multiple looks is not a good thing.
Yeah. You're not driving in New York City, though.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Never have, never will. I don't wish that upon myself or anyone else.
You didn't have to take Kara Walkers in the back of a giant van back to your school in Connecticut.
Did you have to do that?
Oh, yeah. I had to do that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Scary as hell.
White knuckling the whole time.
Yeah.
Not about that life.
Then you hit that traffic, you slam on the brakes. Oops, the Kara Walker's banging against the back of the van. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. By myself, Stephanie. I did that by myself.
What do they
with
expect?
A dolly.
Okay. Oh my God. So Martin designed these signs to make the public more aware of the deaf community, and they were installed near schools for the deaf in Queens, Manhattan, and the Bronx, which is pretty cool if you were a student attending one of those schools, to have this incredibly talented artist who has a graffiti museum see your community, right, and be compelled to make these subversive signs near your school. But on top of all of these various interests that Martin had, he was also an antiquer.
A little antique road showy. I don't know. Do the fans have names? Their names for the
roadie?
Roadie?
A roadie?
Antique
I don't know.
Roadie?
I don't know. Also, I don't even know if antiquer is a word.
They have little like bespeckled like appraisal monocles. They're like, looking at it, trying to figure out if it's worth money. I guess that's what appraisals do. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like the only 2 episodes I've ever seen, there's been a handful, they already know what it's worth when they start shooting. Like, so I don't feel like they ever like inspect it all close. Oh. Like they already have done the background and they're basically there to make the like person like sweat bullets.
Okay.
Waiting to find out what's what. Yeah. Sounds like you haven't watched very many.
No, I only see little clips of it here and there.
Okay.
Doesn't keep my attention. Although it would be good to do some art ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are plenty.
Very cool.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe a little patron bonus at some point.
Yes.
Right.
That sounds like fun. Okay. Back to Martin once again. Okay. So this brings us back to the piece we're going to be talking about today.
The antiquing. The antique road showing. Rodeo.
So today we're going to be talking about Rapture from 1988. It is acrylic on canvas. It's about 45 inches by 64 inches by 2 inches.
Yeah, and that 2 inches it's all the frame, baby. It's all frame, or it's vascular, beautiful frame.
Yeah, so let's talk about the frame.
It's cut, it's lean.
It is.
It's taking whey protein. It's farting all over the place.
Okay, well, I was going to say, we're going to talk about it a little more. Okay.
But really vascular and muscular.
So we're basically...
Like, you don't want to stand near them. It looks good. Like, keep a distance, though, because of the amount of whey protein. It's just a mess in there. Like, the whole biome's gone. Just shot. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Stop.
Somebody's done a little too much research on...
Feeling the topo, Chico. Okay, I'm going to shut up.
Love it. Love this energy. Okay.
What do we call it? We called it topo honesty.
Did we?
Topo truth. I think that's what we were calling it.
I don't remember any of that.
Right.
So we are basically looking at 3 interlocking, ornately framed ovals, okay, which is what snatched our attention in the first place. And like Martin's other works, it's filled with that brown stone building red brick.
And by filled, we mean entirely filled.
Frame to frame, top
Apart
to bottom.
from said whey protein vascular ornate frame, it's only red brick. It's a brick wall, if you will.
Essentially.
Imagine a brick wall.
framed.
Yeah.
A framed brick wall.
You can actually recreate this painting, Stephanie.
Okay.
Like if you Google, quote, Hollywood, Regency, Rococo, triple, oval ring, triptych, interlocking wall mirror, end quote. Throw down some money for that OG vintage frame, and you get said OG vintage mirror, and then face it directly and at the correct distance from an unadorned, completely unadorned and weathered, not new brick wall, weathered brick wall. And then, of course, like you can't actually like interact with it, because if you walk by it, you're gonna ruin the painting. So unless you're, I guess, if you're a ghost,
Okay.
Because ghosts, I don't think they can. Ghosts can't see their reflection, right? Or is that like
That's a
we
vampire.
we can't see? Oh, vampire. Oh shit. Okay.
Vampires can't see the reflection.
Well, well, then you're gonna have to pay someone to install it, because you have like those phantasmagoric, whatever how you say that.
Phantasmagorical.
Thank you. You can't. I don't think you can hold things except for like small things you move across. Okay, I'm gonna drop this.
Unless you're a poltergeist.
It's very complicated.
It is complicated.
Is a poltergeist different than a ghost?
A poltergeist is a violent one that like actually like throws shit.
Sometimes I realize why we get bad reviews is because of stuff like this, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Such tangents are what makes.
If you can't listen to me talk about ghosts for 25 minutes, fair. I don't know. That's
So I
might turn it off too.
You've never done that. Anyway. All right. So being that Martin was an antiquer, this is almost certainly something he would have come across when he was, antiquing, doing his antiquing thing.
Antique roadieing.
On a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Sure. So he may have seen it and been like, So the frame here could very well be an original mirror frame combo is what I'm getting at.
The few vintage frames we could find online they're like pretty much identical to Martin's frame here. And I don't know, we haven't seen this one in person, so I don't know if it's actually a frame or if he recreated the frame. They all have the gold with the repetitive floral / planty motifs.
Yes, planty. Which are characteristics of the Rococo style.
Rococo.
The oldest mirrors that we found don't date back that far. So they were likely riffing on Rococo. They were likely riffing on Rococo. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you said surfing on Rococo.
Maybe I did.
I'm like imagining like you paddling out on some like Francois Boucher, like butt crests, like little waves.
What?
Like little waves. Like the little, because he painted all those booties.
I know.
You're surfing on them. And then you see the big wave of the pastoral clouds and the pooties and like the fabric all flying around, and you're catching the waves. Those are the waves. You gotta surf on it.
What's my surfboard?
You can't riff on it. You surf on it. What do you mean? What's your
my surfboard?
It's some pastoral planty ornate shit. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have a Baroque. No, it's not Baroque. I have a Rococo surfboard. I like that image. That's so fun.
Yeah.
My surfboard is gilded.
Sometimes when I look at a work of art, I feel like I'm surfing on through it. You know what I mean? Like I'm following the lines. I'm following the curves. I'm looking at the butt crests.
And you're like, yay.
Yeah.
And I said, yay. Okay.
Looking
it's very much.
Yeah, the little pooty bellies.
It's very much like riding a roller coaster. That's true. Yeah. All right. So I don't believe that we have yet traversed the Rococo furfurness.
We have not surfed it. No.
Yet. No. Unless this comes out after a Goy episode. Rococo is an art style that originated in France, if that tells you anything. It's a softer, lighter, more playful version of Baroque.
Okay.
Like all of the grandeur, but make it, like nice and purty.
Yeah. And secular. It's very secular.
True.
Like you don't see the virgins and the Jesuses.
No.
And the Rocococos.
None of that.
Yeah.
None of that. If you recall, Baroque was full of angles, dramatic lighting, so much emotion, so much drama, but also visual splendor, right? So think classic Caravaggio, and he's a cappuccino, okay? White frothiness with moments of darkness and light, bitterness and sweetness. Classic.
The blend of the cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, classic Rococo is Fragonard, right? Okay. Or a caramel macchiato, right? It's mostly only sweet to cover the bitterness of the coffee, right? Right?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I like that. It also goes like, I don't know. Never mind.
The caramel drizzle is so Rococo.
Yeah.
So you could say that this mirror frame is caramel macchiato sweet, Both in Rapture and in the mirror that we found online, the oval frames are overlapping and they interlock between the ovals that create this little peekaboo space, which I think is a fun detail.
Peekaboo.
Yeah, peekaboo.
Well, you'd think those oval peekaboos would present a peekaboo like opportunity, but they're filled with bricks. So Martin's smashing any expectation, any sort of peekaboo opportunity, which is more red weathered bricks. Okay.
Right. Basically, these bricks are Trumpole bricks.
Okay.
We talked about Trumpole in our Giotto episode, which is a term for when you paint something to look as though it's three-dimensional. It literally means to deceive the eye in French. So Giotto painted faux marble, sculptures, and even miniature rooms onto the walls of the Scriveni Chapel.
Which for like Giotto walking into the Scriveni Chapel and peeking into all these little like faux dioramas would like set up something mysterious and exciting and eye-tricking, like just these beautiful moments. And even sometimes these little characters are like kind of like leaning on leaning on the faux. Like, how did he get those grids so leveled, actually? Anyway, they're leaning on the faux like marble, and they're like, oh, I'm so faint from living in this shallow little room all day. It's only, look, it's only like it only goes back a foot. Oh, I'm faint. I must steady myself on this marble.
Okay.
So I love that Martin is just like, no, we're just going to have some very realistic, but slightly too small looking realistic bricks.
Bricks is all you get.
Bricks is all you get. Because the bricks is all you gets. Because the bricks. Oh, you knew what I was doing. Nice. We've listened to a lot of Blue Eyed Soul around here.
Yes, thank you, Mom. Not you, Russell. Sorry.
Hall & Oates. Just Hall & Oates.
Blue Eyed Soul.
Yeah. Because they're white.
Because they're white.
Yeah, because they're white. And remember, like Martin started out as a ceramicist, so he has this like extra perceptional sort of sense for the tactical, right? Like the touchable, all right? So he knows like what it's like to hold a mug in his hand and feel that good mug, like a goodly designed mug. You know what I'm saying?
Goodly designed mug, yes.
Put that on a mug. Goodly designed mug.
No, okay. Just goodly designed.
Goodly designed. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Mug would also be funny. Anyway.
But I mean, it's a perfect example of why artists should try their hand at every medium they can, or even like branch into like, I don't know, like pinstriping a car or something, or like making a model or painting little like miniature characters or something. Wherever your curiosity leads you. Yeah. And maybe even some stuff that you didn't think you'd want to do, because all of that information, all those different ways of working feeds back into your work. So in this case, knowing how to play with dimensionality shows up as just this flat surface paint and really works for Martin here.
Right. And that's something that is characteristic about his work. He was always so painstakingly detailed with every surface. And so you can tell what kind of surface that he wanted you to think of.
Right.
Like what kind of a feeling that he wanted you to remember. Like how that cup feels in your hand. Exactly, that mug, that goodly designed mug.
The goodly designs, yeah. I think it allows him to anthropomorphize buildings too. Like some of his paintings, the buildings almost look human. By taking like those tactile elements and exaggerating them in some of his paintings, they like things just start to feel human. Like in Rapture, the bricks almost feel like skin or sometimes like a landscape, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I might be overthinking this, but we could be looking at a weathered brick. Weathered brick wall. Okay.
For sure we are. That's what we're looking at.
So, well, follow me here. A brick patterned mirrored wall reflecting a burning sky.
So there's like etching in the mirror is what you're saying. And then we're looking at a burning sky through a mirror.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Well, I'm thinking about, I have something in mind, obviously. Okay. So I'm thinking about that mirror house in Joshua Tree that went up for sale for a stupid amount of money not too long ago.
Yeah, we were looking at that the other day.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Which, speaking of Rococo, this whole ass house is frivolous as fuck. It's basically a celebrity fun house.
Yeah, it's an Airbnb for influencers to chew their colon cleanses for TikTok.
Ew, no.
They're colon shots.
Done it, I know. Ow.
Inject it, shoot it, put it up your butt. Anyway, so you're imagining.
Okay.
No, I'm with you. Okay. I got you.
Okay.
It makes sense. I can see some soft Rococo clouds in those bricks for sure. That's why I thought of landscape, right?
Yes. It's very Tiepolo.
Right.
Okay, mind you, Martin knew his shit. Martin knew his art history.
He knew his surfboards. San Francisco Bay Area.
I'm sure he knew
Graywell
surfboarding
Beach surfing.
for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So I can see these Tiapolo clouds floating around in his cabeza.
Right, but like post-apocalyptic Rococo.
Of course.
Which actually sounds great. Like we're all left behind with dipshits like Nicolas Cage and Kevin Sorbo.
I don't want that for us.
Nobody wants that.
I want that for anybody.
Like we need to wipe our mouths out with like Clorox bleach. So the name Rapture, right? So obviously it has this religious implication, but obviously there are other implications. And he uses so much poetic language. He uses actual poetry that he doesn't write or that he does write in his work. So I really do read this as a skin, or I like the burning clouds idea too.
Okay.
But something that's like tactile and romantic. It could just be about like how obsessed he is with bricks, right? So, I mean that, like, truly, like, it sounds weird, but like, we all, like, I love broken down, like, things. I love, like, weathered paint. So,
and rocks.
I steal it if it falls off of, like, a piece of concrete that's, like, crumbled. I'll take it in my pocket. So, but also, like, he moved from San Francisco to New York City, and there's not a ton of, like, these, brownstone buildings in San Francisco. So, this was a signifier of his new life, of his new home.
Right. But also, bricks are something that is often made by hand to some degree.
Yep.
It's made of earth, right?
It's goodly made.
Very ceramics. Right. Yes, goodly made. Speaking of goodly made, in 2023, we know that they don't build entire structures with bricks anymore like they did back in the day.
Nah.
So to us, bricks are absolutely a relic of a certain time period of human history. So that's another layer to this work.
We'll steal a brick, Stephanie and I. You leave a brick around, we'll take it. If it looks devoid of like door that could be propped open, we'll take it.
I'm pretty sure we have taken somebody's door propping brick once.
No, we did bring that one back. I felt bad about it.
We did. I didn't realize it till way after. I'm like, I can't
it was like
go
a
back
restaurant.
now.
I felt bad about it.
Can't go back now. Anyway, so
someone's going out for a smoke break and getting locked out. Like I felt bad about that.
I know. That's probably what happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, this probably adds another layer to Martin's work that he probably didn't intend, but that's what I get. And speaking of relic, there's a dissonance between the seemingly delicate frame and the heavy weathered bricks to me. So I feel like this is a portrait of grief. The bricks are a reflection of someone grieving. In my experience, grief has felt like being so enveloped in those emotions that all you can do is feel them, and you forget that you have a body. So you may as well have disappeared. This is dark. Because in that moment, nothing else matters except that the loss and the pain that is left behind. But then you have this delicate, ornate gold frame that could be a remnant of lighter times, but it's too fragile to hold up these heavy-ass bricks, right? So the frame then becomes an attempt at framing the pain and happier times.
Okay.
Do you follow me?
I think so. I mean, I think I see it a little less, not to call that negative, but...
It's dark.
Darker, yeah.
Yeah, it's dark, yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think it can go both ways, though. Like, if I put myself in Martin Wong's cowboy boots...
Oh, you see, you're betting the little boot.
I swear, okay. He used bricks in so much of his work, like we were saying. Like, he sometimes made the brick buildings seem human, like we said. Sometimes they were stages for these moments of romance.
That's true.
And then the name Rapture is essentially ecstasy. So this is like the ecstasy of Saint Martin Wong.
I love
like
that.
He's finding his own decadence in the hellscape that capitalism left New York City in. And also the rising AIDS epidemic that was happening at this time. That was likely starting to kill off some of his close friends.
Right.
And this is 1988. So at the same time, like things like he's seeing his friends die. He's seeing like people suffering. He's lived here for like 10 years, right? And then slowly you're seeing the yogification. You're seeing the Central Perk. You're seeing chains of microdose like psilocybin bone broth stores popping up.
Okay. All right.
So he's seeing a lot, and I think part of it is him like reminiscing.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. But we also really haven't addressed the title directly yet. So that also gives us another layer of meaning. So Rapture has several meanings. It can refer to ecstasy, mythical or otherwise, like Saint Teresa of Avila. Or it can be an experience of overwhelming emotion or a mystical experience in which your spirit receives knowledge of divine things.
Okay.
Right? Very, very spiritual. Or it can mean the Christian ending of times.
Yeah.
When all of those true believers
like
will
Kevin
be
Sorbo.
Assumed into heaven somehow, like through a UFO beam is what I'm imagining.
You get to hang out with Hercules.
Like which one though?
Kevin.
Wait, is that who he is?
Yeah, he's
Hercules?
He's an insane person now. Yeah. You know
that
this?
sweaty tan man in like a loincloth?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Not surprising. A lot of those 90s actors turned to Trump. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So back to 1988. You were right. The year 1988 was also significant to Martin in a different way. So Martin's partner, poet and playwright Miguel Pinheiro, died at the age of 41 from cirrhosis.
Oh my gosh.
Right, that same year. But also, like you mentioned, not to forget the thousands of people dying of AIDS at this time.
Yeah.
So again, it's very possible that he had already lost friends to AIDS at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like taking a second look at his work, it really hammers home how much he touched all these communities. Like, I mean, as much as an artist can touch a community, because if you're not like, he wasn't a huge name artist by any means. Like he had some success, but not like mega success in his day. And I think we said something like this in our first episode on Martin Wong. He didn't force himself into those communities.
Right.
He just was kind of like curious about them. He just kind of saw similar connections with them, like to his own life. Like coming from being an outsider himself, an openly gay Asian American from like the other side of the continent, right?
West Coast, man. Sorry.
Like, I mean, there is a streak of real, honest leftism in his work that I just really love. Like, it's not the eating each other leftism. It's not like arguing about the little details. Like, truly building bridges to communities, different sets of communities that if they were all combined, they would be very powerful. So you can focus on the differences, but also the shared experiences. At times, it does feel like his work is all about like, this sounds really cheesy, but like kind of being like a flower blooming within those hellscapes, those like burned out brick building hellscapes, like the bursts of color from the graffiti against the brick, right?
Right. I love
memorializing like a dilapidated building, memorializing dilapidating bricks in a golden rococo frame, memorializing people's lives and how short they are and how painful they are, but also like how beautiful they are, even if they're, you know, weathered and brick-like. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I ended that well, but.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Very poetic.
So should we call it there?
Me gusta. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we'll call it here. Thank you so much for your support.
Your support. We love your support.
Okay. Thank you so much for your support and patience. Patrons, we could not do this without you. Hopefully this tides you over until our next release. We got a lot of stuff that we're working on for season dos. A lot of twos today. Yeah. But also speaking of season 2, head on over to our YouTube page and make sure you subscribe and click that little notification bell.
I just see people point at things, so.
No, we're not going to do that.
I'm pointing around.
Just don't do that.
There might be something here. There might be something there.
Okay. All right.
Hair's crazy right now. I feel nuts. All right, go on.
No, it's your turn.
Oh, and if you're if you're interested in possibly traveling with us, we're gonna do a little. We might do a little trip abroad. Okay, we might do a little art making. We might do a little art looking, and you would be invited to join us. But before we commit to anything, we actually need your feedback on things like location, budgets that would be affordable for you all. So if you could head on over to artslicepod.com/travel. I think it just takes a few minutes to fill it out.
Like less than 2 minutes, I would say.
Please do that. It would be really rad to do that with you all.
Yes. Super exciting. Also would love to know personally where y'all would like to travel. Yeah, just for me.
Yeah, we have some ideas. Like I would like to go to Cambodia again, or Mexico would be good. Obviously, Spain would be good. Never been there. Yeah, I don't know. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
A big hug to you patrons. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Especially you new patrons, but also the ones who've hung around for a long time.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
Yes. So much yes.
Really awkward when there's not like a regular goodbye.
All right. We can just say goodnight and goodbye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.